Okay, it's a whole nother week. Welcome to the Brotherhood of Gaming podcast. You know the drill. So, I'm feeling...
Where we sit on our asses and talk stuff.
All right, yeah, best time of the day. So, yeah, new week, new topics, sort of new, some old, but you know what? We felt like talking about them, and some of you have actually requested something. So, yeah. I'd give shout-outs, but I forgot to get the names of the people who requested these. So, you guys know who you are. The people that shouted out this stuff, I guess you can go to, like, you know who you are. So, yeah, they wanted to hear us talk about what we think on the Devil May Cry sort of collection, or not sort of HD update for the PlayStation 4 going on by Capcom. So they're going to take Devil May Cry 4 and DmC and HD both of them up again for the next generation consoles and release them simultaneously. One would assume they're doing this as to kind of test the waters, just to see if Capcom can still try to break even and say that we were right the whole time. You really do like DmC better than that other one, yeah? No. Like, it's like they're so desperate to make DmC relevant. Like we were right all along. You just didn't know it until now. We forgive you. No. Like, as far as I know, didn't they have DmC up for free for a while, or like for a really cheap price on the PlayStation Network?
And still no one wanted to play it.
Nobody wanted it. Nobody bought it. Nobody wanted to play it.
Well, I think we should be... Let's not be too harsh. There are fans of DmC, and we should acknowledge that.
Well, yeah, like, I can't believe... Yeah, I've met some that really go out of their way to say that, oh, this one's way better than, like, the other...
DmC, it's a real good game.
Like, it's way better than the other one. Tamim was right. I mean, yeah, like, screw that. And I met some of those people. I'm just kind of shaking my head, and I'm like, really?
Okay, well, fine. That's okay, but you can like that, but do you have to bash my series, too?
I mean, yeah, if you remember my review on the game, like, I said it was okay, but that was kind of the problem, is that it was so okay that it wasn't worth existing, really. Like, it was too short, it was too generic.
When you make a reboot or a remake, you want to make sure it's that it's better than the original or improves on the original.
Yeah, but that's kind of the problem, is like when you reboot or reimagine something,
it just feels like it's dumbed down.
Yeah, you have to keep, like, the soul.
If I get triple S's on DmC, you know it's wrong.
I
am not
agree.
supposed to get triple S's on Devil May Cry.
I agree. Like, I mean, if Gene can get triple S's, that's something. That's false advertising.
When it comes to... Oh, let's start. Okay. When it comes to Capcom, I just think that it just kind of goes to show you how... I don't know how desperate they've gotten. Because they don't have a lot of money in the bank.
Well, apparently they got enough to make Street Fighter V.
I don't know. What do you think?
That totally doesn't look like Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, I don't. Like Event Status said, I kind of agree with him that this does seem like they're just trying to test the waters, or I don't know. I don't know what to think. I just don't see what the point is. Like, if it didn't sell that well in the first time, why are you gonna do a definitive edition? I just don't see the point of it.
Yeah, like, because this clearly was no game of the year by any standard, so it's not. It is not deserving in any way, shape, or form of any edition other than.
Well, I'm sure the people who like DmC are excited for this, and that's fine, but.
But it gets nothing added onto it. As far as I know, like Devil May Cry 4 gets, like, you get to play as Virgil now for some reason, which I guess is okay.
Actually, the thing about Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition is that, well, I already have Devil May Cry 4 for the PS3.
Yeah.
Now, there's
the PC version, which can always get upgraded.
If they did this, and I watched, there's this great channel called Press Start for Remorse. And he did, like, this great 4-part series on a review of DmC.
Oh, yeah.
And the first part, he talked about the history of Devil May Cry and how he got into it, and how his favorite is actually Devil May Cry 4. And then he talked about the history of Devil May Cry 4, and how it was originally supposed to have, like, a 2-year development span, but they cut down to 1 year.
Okay.
And then a lot of stuff had to be cut out, which is why you in Devil May Cry 4 you play a lot of the same levels over and over again.
Yeah, because Dante was going to have, like, completely different.
Yeah, that chick Gloria. She was actually supposed to be her own separate character and not just Trish in disguise. Yeah, and I'm thinking, man, if they actually went back and redid Devil May Cry 4 like the way it was originally supposed to be and released
using the assets that's already
there. Like Devil May Cry 4 how it was originally supposed to be, man, I'd play that in a heartbeat.
Like call it Devil May Cry 4 the original edition.
Yeah, I would actually get a PS. That actually would be a console seller for me. I'd get a PS4 just to play that because that game's so freaking awesome. And Devil May Cry 4 was great. I mean, the combat, the action, the variety, the fact that you get to play as different characters.
It was a little easier, but I'm fine with that.
Well, with all the different combat and stances, it's all right there. It's one of the best pure action game engines for action adventure hack and slash games ever made.
It was really kind of awkward though, when you were like, "Oh, I don't want to be Nero, I want to be Dante," but then when you got to Dante, it's like, "I want to be Nero again" because he
has the claw.
He has that arm that just grabs the shit out of people. That is the biggest fuck off arm. It just Mr. Fantastic stretches across the room and grabs your enemy and just slam dunks them, and it's the game breaker for Nero.
Right.
So it's
but for Dante, he's got all his moves there too, and all his stances and
he takes a little more skill to use though. So,
right. Which is fun, which is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, which is fun.
So if they did that, like Devil May Cry 4, like you said, the original edition, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Or Devil May Cry 4, the original plan. Or,
right, exactly.
Give it a clever title, but with DMC, what you got is what you got. There was no original plan.
Another thing too that really, I know it's old news, but it just really turned me off is all the stuff around it. Like if you just gave me the game itself without all the outside stuff, I probably would have played it. And
what outside stuff?
Well, I'll get to in a second. But if I just had the game DMC and I just played the game itself, I would have had an okay time with it. But then you had all the stuff with Tamine and Ninja Theory mouthing off, and all the video game media, just the way they promoted this thing, like it's the second coming, and they're still doing it. I just read an article earlier that Devil May Cry 4, the special edition, Devil May Cry 4, and the superb DMC coming to PlayStation 4, and I'm like, ugh, we're still doing this shit. You're still trying to push this.
Yeah, no, I had a few problems.
You Devil May Cry fans are stupid, and just bashing the fans and promoting this thing like Devil May Cry 4 was such a shitty game that it just needed to be rebooted, and it's like that. That's what really just turned me off by all that stuff, because I don't know about you, Will. I don't like being talked down to.
Yeah, and
I don't like people insulting my intelligence.
Yeah, and DMC was your best shot. Now, if you like DMC, that's fine, because there are some things to like about it. However, again, you could beat the game in less than an hour. And this game was in development for how long?
Capcom had to go and actually help them.
For this game to have been in development for as long as it was, and you can speed run this game in just under an hour or a little over an hour, that's not good.
Well, the interesting thing about this new is that they're including all the things now that the fans complained about, I guess, which is kind of interesting. Now they're including all the features that that people had a problem with, because when they were doing this, they didn't care about what the fans thought. This was our game. But now that all these complaints come we're gonna release this definitive edition. Now we're gonna add all the things that that should have been there in the first place.
Like what?
Let's see. The 10 HP mode. The new costumes. Difficulties. Trophy achievement, leaderboards, those things. The things.
I thought a better game was in the option, but no. My problems with DMC boiled down to just the concept. There was far too much. I do not have guys. I do not have virgin ears. Okay, I hear curse words a lot. But this game was just so over the top with its profanity. It was trying to be an adult. Oh, we're edgy. We're for grown-ups because we say fuck a lot. And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then there was that whole scene with Mundus, literally having on-screen sex, dirty sex with his deformed, whatever that demon chick that is, with a twisty in her head. Do we have to see this? This does not make your game edgy. This makes it childish.
It's just Event Status said something that I've been thinking about for a long time. You know how nowadays when you have all these different video game journalists praising Anita Sarkeesian about how she's so brave and pointing out how sexist and misogynistic video games are, and standing up to these terrible sexist misogynistic games and just praising the hell out of her. these are the very same journalists who a year before was praising DmC, Devil May Cry, one of the most misogynistic video games ever made. I mean, if you actually think about how every female character was treated in that game, like, oh my god. You know, you had Kat, who was your stereotypical damsel in distress trope, and then you had that chick who was getting ass raped, and then other than that, you had who's the other powerful female characters in the game? Oh yeah, the two hookers or the two strippers that Dante sleeps with at the beginning of the game.
Not to mention that also same game where they're having that trade off, and then Virgil shoots her unborn baby inside her stomach. Like, really?
Yeah. I mean, there's just a lot about DmC that really just turned me off.
Like, as a game, it's generic. Like, it's fine. It's pretty easy to figure out. There's really not a whole lot of, like, you can get S ranks without trying, man. Like, there's really not much to it. Like, if you like the game, that's fine. It's average. It's okay to like it, but to claim that it's like the prodigy of Devil May Cry games, like it's the second coming, by no means. Like, it is not a good example.
You know, so we have, but it is kind of interesting that they're bringing both DmC and Devil May Cry 4 to the PlayStation 4 market and the Xbox One. So it's going to be interesting to see what sells more.
You have to ask.
At first I heard this, I was thinking, well, maybe this is Capcom trying to be nice and trying to, please everybody. But then I thought about, no, they're actually trying to test the waters, I think.
Yeah, or worst case scenario, like nobody buys any of them because we've already gotten these games like in collections, and
that's another thing too, is that I have these games in collections.
They've been released multiple times. Do we really need them again? Like, it's kind of like now they're doing the Street Fighter thing again, but with Devil May Cry.
Well, that's just the way Capcom is nowadays, I think.
Re-release it over and over and over.
They really did that a lot in the last generation, if you stop and think about that too. You know, there was really a lot of really new content. There was, but there was also a lot of re-releases, and now it's even getting worse. They're just re-releasing old stuff. So,
like, cause whether or not you like Devil May Cry 4, well, at least it was a long game and you got your money's worth.
So
but, yeah, I still can't believe that we're talking about DmC after all this time. Like, it's like a cockroach. It just won't go away. Like,
it should be one of those relics that you look back years from now and you're like, oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah, that was a weird idea.
Like Zilla from the 1988 Godzilla film. Yeah, that happened.
Like, with complete respect, I would want to go into Capcom and just interview them and like ask like why, what was the point, what was the idea, what made people think that they had to go into this direction, and why do they persist on trying to push it when clearly, like, the majority are not for it.
I just think they don't really have any more original ideas, so they're just sourcing out their material out to other places.
I wouldn't go there talking down them. I would literally go in there for answers and just want to know, like, why are you guys constantly trying to push something that the larger majority really do not like? And the media that you guys have covering this are talking down to them like they're the idiots who were wrong this whole time.
I don't know. Like I said, that's another reason I didn't like this game, or didn't pick this game up, because I didn't like being talked down to. I didn't like people assuming that I'm stupid because I have my own opinion, and then get mad at me for not buying the game. It's like, how dare you gamers actually have free will?
Yeah, like, what was to me? What did he actually say? He's like, what did he say? It was like, you should shut up and just accept what we give you.
Yeah, basically. It's like, no, we don't.
No.
How about we don't buy it? How about that?
Yeah, like,
that's an option.
Honestly, I'm not gonna get either of them.
Really, I'm not, because, you know, because I already have. Like I said, if they did the Devil May Cry 4, what I said earlier, like they originally did, like redid the whole game like the original was supposed to be, I would get that, because that sounds amazing.
Because it's just, there's nothing to see here. Like, well, I'll wait until I see the trailers. Like, is there anything absolutely worth playing Devil May Cry 4 again? And I've played it to death. Like, and DmC, I've again
played it once.
I played it a few times. Like I said, it's not a long game. Like, you can beat it pretty easily. So I've done quite a few playthroughs of DmC just to root out everything that I needed to know about the game, just for the sake of reviewing it. But yeah, like, again, there was nothing really neat, nothing to go back to. Like, so I just don't see the point. Like, making your game look better with the graphics does not appeal to me to make me have to go and get it again. Like, graphics really, again, I cannot stress them enough how low graphics come when it comes to the final product. Graphics should be the last thing you have to worry about. You need to focus on making a good game, good gameplay, good story, a good score. The graphics should be the last thing you have to worry about. Like, people won't care so much about the graphics as long as you have the rest of the stuff, like making a great product.
Well, for most people.
Yeah, for most people. Like, graphics, of course, that'll have its own thing, but you want to make your game look as good as you possibly can. But that should not be your primary focus, because all you're going to get, like a lot of many other games out there, is a pretty piece of crap. Whether it be, for the time, Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness. For the time, it was pretty beautiful. But gameplay subpar, but a lot of people still liked it. You got Final Fantasy 13. Like, beautiful, probably one of the most beautiful graphics we've ever seen to date on a console.
Final Fantasy Hallway.
Yeah,
it's pretty one of the clearest.
It's just hallways. Like, it's boring gameplay with no inspiration. Yeah, there are so many games that try to make the game look beautiful but have nothing else for it. Like, well, we made this beautiful Mozart picture.
I still can't believe you got that Final Fantasy 13 on day one. And you got a head cold for it, too.
I wasn't the only one. A lot of people were there because, yeah, like...
I think you called me once. I think you called me that you were walking home and you called me at night. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, because me and Clayton, we were there. And, like, because granted... Granted, at the time, Final Fantasy's reputation really didn't start getting bad yet. I mean, to Spoonie it had, but...
Yeah.
but, like, Final Fantasy 12, a lot of people liked it, but... like, some people didn't. Like, Final Fantasy 11, it was an online only thing. Final Fantasy 10, it was great. Everybody loved it for the most part. Right. So again, Final Fantasy's reputation really hadn't started getting really bad until 13 showed up, and then people were like, oh, okay, they've started dropping the ball. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was just a funny story. But
so yeah,
I think. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, when they released the trailers for that game, it looked amazing. I mean, it looked like a game that you had to get. Like, it was one of those. Like, it was like Metal Gear Solid 4. It was like one of those demanded titles you had to have for the console.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, I like Remorse said too. I guess a nice thing about DmC coming out is it also has made people appreciate Devil May Cry 4 more. Because that was another game too that got a lot of flack at first, but a lot of people are looking at Devil May Cry 4.
Oh yeah,
that actually was a pretty damn good game. And like I said, if they actually had the full development time, I think it could have been something really amazing.
I think people just were turned off by the fact that they were playing as a new character and not Dante.
Yeah, but he's awesome. Nero's really cool.
Yeah, it took time though.
Nero's a punk. He's a punk, and he's not as good as Dante, and he never will be. But that's what makes him awesome.
Oh yeah, they even had that by him getting his own ass kicked by Dante on several occasions.
Yeah, but that's what makes him awesome. I like that.
Yeah, like he can't be Dante, but at least he can fight.
Yes, he can fight.
But yeah, he was like Nero was the Raiden. Like, nobody liked Raiden at first, but now that we started warming up to him, we started getting more exposed to him. Raiden got his own game, and now everybody freaking loves the hell out of Raiden. Like, you had this whiny,
even though you know that he's never be as good as Solid Snake.
Yeah, well,
that's fine.
Yeah, like that's the thing though. Like, is he or isn't he now? like yeah, we love Solid Snake. We love his attitude. We love his charm. We love his character. We love what he can do. But in terms of the badassery now, can Solid Snake take on Raiden now after what we've seen him do? Like, the dude can pick up a Metal Gear and slash things with it. Like, I don't know. If Solid Snake had to, could he take on Raiden? Yeah, I mean, Solid Snake, yeah, he's beaten other mechanoid people. Like, could he? Like, would he find a way? Maybe.
Another thing, too, that helps out Devil May Cry fans is I think the Devil May Cry series is continuing nowadays. It's just morphed into Bayonetta.
Yeah, the original makers there.
Yeah.
And, well, I'm thankful for that, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Thankful for that.
Well, yeah, like, again, I don't have so much a problem with the DmC game as much as I had with the public relations and the people who worked on it.
Yes.
Like,
if I didn't hear the public relations and all that crap, and just had the game itself, like, I would have been okay with it.
I would have been okay with it. Yeah, it has its faults. It's a little too much profanity for my taste. Again, I don't have virgin ears, but when you're trying to force it and just shout F-bombs all over the place, back and forth, like, you start
to tune out after a while.
Like, okay, knock it off. Yeah. Like, so, yeah, Devil May Cry, DmC, it's a casual game. There was nothing really amazing about it, so I don't see too much of the appeal. And Devil May Cry 4, we've played it to death. I just have no interest in getting it again. So, we'll see what happens when it comes out, but I'm pretty sure this is Capcom just testing the waters. Again.
I don't even know if Capcom will be around a few years from now.
Well, they've already filed out for like being absorbed or something.
Yeah.
But
I personally think they're trying to convince Sony to buy them, but that's just my opinion.